Okay, welcome all of you, all the people who are online and all of you here. So today we are here for this session, how to use paid media to grow startups. Now before we start, my name is Owais Ahmed. I'm a performance marketing trainer and consultant. I've been in this industry for a decade now. I started my career with Hewlett Packard as digital marketing executive, working on the advertiser side. And then after a while, I got a chance to work on the publishing side of the business on programmatic platforms. And after a while, I worked on the ad tech side, working with Google for 2.5 years, basically on programmatic platforms. And then after that, I worked with an agency for last 4 years, working with a variety of clients from e-commerce to governments to education to Forex and all those verticals. So the agenda for today is one, I'll just give you an idea about what performance marketing is and how did we get here. And then I'll take you through basically because some of you might not be aware about different marketing channels, digital marketing channels, and what are kind of the USPs for each of the channels. And after that, I will talk about a 6-point or 6-step framework to create digital marketing strategies, which is like the main agenda for today's session. Now, this will help you in a way, for example, if you want to work on a digital marketing strategy for your own company or a startup, this will help you to do so. Or even if you're working with an agency to do that, you will be able to evaluate how effective their performance marketing strategy or digital marketing strategy is. Because any strategy can be more extensive than these, can have more than these 6 pillars, but if it doesn't have all these 6 pillars, then it probably is not a good strategy. And after that, I will quickly take you through like how do you audit basically, because there's a lot of changes going in this space from last few years. How do you audit and kind of benchmark, and how do you put a plan to kind of become more digitally mature and make your business future-proof in digital marketing space. For the people who are online, I won't be able to see your comments. Okay. Now, basically, how did we get here? How did we reach to this point where we have performance marketing? Now, advertising probably started long way back when these people were called madmen. Now, initially, for like until maybe 15 years or 20 years, the whole concept of advertising was about branding. Now, mostly in order to check the effectiveness of your advertising or marketing, you will probably have to do focus groups, surveys, which are not very reliable. We all know that. And then it was only for companies who have big budgets, big brands. So like 20 years ago, if you had to advertise probably on TV, radio, or newspaper, those were your options. And we all know that it would have been very expensive. So only big brands would think about advertising. Now, what happened is there were some companies and people like Mark Zuckerberg, companies like Facebook, Google, what they did is they made a very interesting shift. Now, if you think about it, what they did is when they started, because advertising and marketing is all about catching the eyeballs, catching your attention. If you're watching TV, if you're listening to the radio, the brands have to be there. Now, people started going to social media platforms, digital websites. Now the brands needed to be there. So what these digital ad tech companies like Facebook and Google did is they took share of advertising budgets from the brands, from offline, from the newspaper, print, and radio and TV, and started taking that share. But they did not stop there. What they did is they primarily made advertising accessible to small brands. Like a shop or a restaurant here in this building would advertise these days. Why? Because they can look at ROI. If they spend $100 on advertising, they can easily track that how much money they are making from this. So return on investment, they can track. And they added a lot of other things. Let's say customizability, measurability, operational ease, scalability, and it's ROI focused. So these companies, they didn't just take the share from offline advertising, they onboarded smaller advertisers. Every business has to be online now. they have to spend on digital marketing. And where does it go? It goes to companies like Facebook, Google, who kind of own this space. So that is where, I mean, the main drift from offline to online advertising. So we started having digital marketing, emergence of digital marketing. Now, after that, once we had emergence of digital marketing, what I have seen in my 8 or 10 years career is all the questions I put here, I have faced them in my career. Now, initially, when we used to go to the clients, I'm talking about like maybe 6 years ago, the clients would ask us questions like, can you show our ads on bbc.com? That was their KPI. Like, if you are able to do so, if you are a marketing agency and a client sees that their ad is appearing on bbc.com, it would make them happy. Everybody is happy. Now, how it changed is slowly they started asking questions like, no one in the management in our company is looking at the campaign. So we are running a campaign, let's say for AstroLabs or any other company. The marketing manager would ask us, our management is saying they are not seeing the campaign online, there's no traction. So that's where the focus shifted initially from, can we just be on BBC, and this question. And further down the years, when they understood that how digital marketing can be done efficiently, the questions changed to, we spent this marketing budget, how much traffic did you get us? So they started focusing more on these soft metrics. And nowadays, what clients ask you is, I don't care about leads, not even leads. No, I'm not talking about traffic. I'm not talking about leads. For example, I work with automotive clients. They say, we don't care about how many leads you get us. How many qualified leads did you get us? How many sales did we, how many cars did we sell? So the whole shift focused from brand to performance. Some metrics which impact their business directly, which is performance marketing. Now, all of this is done using a lot of workflows, putting together a lot of ad tech tools and make sure that they work smoothly. For example, if you look here, you can see the CRM systems, the email automation systems, the analytics, all of them have to be synced and talk to each other. It all has to work like a machine. But to put it simply, like all of this, we do the ad tech stuff, the marketing stack, the ad stack. You just need to ensure that the solution for all this, the performance marketing, the objective of performance marketing, or the solution is, you just have to show the right message to the right user on the right platform at the right time. Looks simple, but it's not that simple. But this is the solution. If you are able to do this, you are running efficient campaigns. Now, how do we do it? For example, out of curiosity, there's a website called Google Ad Settings yesterday. I checked it. It tells you what all information Google has about you. Now, Google has almost 200 attributes about me as a person, as a user. Almost 80% was accurate. Google even knows that I rent a house and I'm not living in my own house. This is just few of them. You can check it for yourself. Go to adsetting.com. Google will tell you all the attributes and information it has about you. Now, I was shocked to see that Google knows that I am interested in investing. I'm interested in jazz music. So, with all this data, for example, if you tell me these 200 data points about any person, I don't know that person, I'll be exactly able to tell you as a human being that what kind of ads will suit that person. What kind of ads will he click on? And what kind of products he might purchase online. Now, all these companies, Google, Facebook, they have all these data points about you. So they feed all this data into their algorithms and make sure that they run efficient campaigns. They are just, which we discussed, right message, right user, right platform, and right time. But as marketers or business owners, how do we make sure that this happens for our marketing campaigns as well?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What about TikTok? Is that able to be read? You know, all those data points?
They have all the data points, but
Accessible?
I mean, with the new GDPR policies, they should have it somewhere as well, but I'm not exactly sure, but they should have it on somewhere on their website.
Their algorithm is such that when you're scrolling, they have an algorithm in the scroll. So they see your interest, they catch your interest, and based on that, in the fourth or fifth feed, they feed you as per your interest. So that's an algorithm.
All the platforms do that, yeah.
To catch your
Yeah, exactly. They have they I would say, being in this industry for a while, I would say TikTok might have even more information than Google and Facebook. That's what I assume. So all of this is true. Data, digital marketing, algorithms, and everything. But when we apply this to our business, all of this will only work, all of this marketing will only work when then there is someone somewhere who wants to buy our product. If my product is not good enough, no matter how much marketing I do, nobody will buy it. And that thing, so it's kind of, that thing is intent. Like, it's like you have to use these platforms in a way that you have to make sure that you reach out to people who have a particular limit of intent to buy or purchase your product. So it's all a game of intent. Now, how do we capture that? Now, all of you might have seen an ad like this. Yeah, it's a shopping ad. Now, it is triggered only when somebody searches for something. For example, in this case, I searched for black Adidas jacket that makes me look like a celebrity. You will be shocked to see what kind of search queries.
Is that it?
No, this is a different one. I just did it yesterday. Yeah. So you'll be shocked to know like what kind of search queries you have on Google. So if you search for something like this, Google will exactly show you a black Adidas jacket. Now, the intent here is very high. The user is looking for this jacket. You are not telling him like Facebook, you might be interested in this jacket. Here, the user is already searching for this jacket. The intent here is the highest probably. Now, that is one thing that differentiates Google search and shopping with anything else. The intent here. Now, there are ads like this you have seen on Facebook, right? Then we have Facebook ads like this. You go to Khalij Times, you see a display ad, right? Then there is on Facebook, you scroll and you see an ad like this. And then there is Google search, obviously. It's just a close variant of shopping ads, right? But my question to you is, if you are familiar with all these channels, a company spending their money on Google Shopping, Google Search, display ads, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, if it's all about intent and why don't people just invest all their money on Google search? Why do they go to other channels? Or why do, as when we are doing strategy for our channels, why do we even invest on Facebook or YouTube? Why don't we just go to Google ads? Because we are looking for intent and that's where we measure it. We'll exactly bid for keywords that people are looking for, services or products that our company provides. Why?
People make impulse purchases. Sometimes they want things that they don't know they want.
Exactly. So that's so true. Like, not everyone knows what they need, right? For example, okay, this is just a meme. Do we have a problem? Some people don't even know that we have a problem. For example, if I am recording this video and I don't have this lavalier mic, my voice quality is not good. And I don't even realize that my voice quality is not good. Some people don't even know they have a problem. And some people, they know they have a problem, they don't know there is a solution, right? So customers can be divided basically in 4 categories. Like, some problem unaware, they don't even know they have a problem. Problem aware, they know they have a problem, but they don't know there's a solution. Then there are people who know there is a solution, but they don't know that your brand or your company provides that. So take those kind of users who are in the first stage or second or third or fourth and make them purchase your product or service. That's why we invest on other channels than search, right? Because at the end, what you look at is how much I invested on Facebook and Google and what was the returns, right? If it's in line, doesn't matter, right?
Just one question.
Sure.
Must be covering that in later in the presentation, but
Yeah.
all of these paid media marketings, or especially on the social media marketing that we're talking about, they are invariably, when so far in the slides as well, reaching out to the B2C customers.
No, B2B as well.
That's what I need to understand. Really, even how effective are they for even B2B and B2C?
We will cover that. We'll cover that. We'll just give you an idea because it's just 1 hour session. But you should have a good idea. So this is the slide. For example, now we know that there is multiple channels. You might have heard about, I don't know how familiar you are with digital marketing, but you might have heard about Google search, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, TikTok ads, EDMs. Now, all of these channels have something special in a way. So in this slide, I'll be just covering what do they have special which other channels don't. Otherwise, for example, if we talk about retargeting, it's available in all channels. So I'll be focusing on what is available in these channels. So you might, for example, say, okay, this thing is important for me because I'm a B2B marketer. So that's what I'll be covering. For example, search and shopping, they have the highest intent. You can bid for specific keywords, buy a mic, buy accounting software, how to set up a business in UAE, right? B2B.
I'm sorry, when you buy these keywords, are they location specific?
Yes, you have to additional, for example, if you want to target people who want to buy Adidas jacket, obviously you can do it, people just looking for Dubai because I deliver only in Dubai. So you can control that as well. Okay, so Facebook. Now Facebook has one thing, for example, if we are talking about, let's say UAE Exchange has an offer that if you send money to Egypt, Philippines, India, Pakistan, we have this offer. So they just want to reach out to these 4 nationalities in UAE, right? How do they do it? Now Facebook has an answer. There is a targeting in Facebook called lived in this country. So if somebody lived in India before, target them. They probably are Indian expats, right? You cannot do that anywhere in any other platform as far as I know, right? So you have, Facebook has a very strong algorithm. You run a campaign, don't do a lot of targeting, they kind of understand who to show what ad, they kind of understand the behavior and what kind of pages you have engaged before. So they are very strong in there. And you can target page engagers. For example, if you have a big Facebook community, and we know that if you have 100,000 subscribers or followers of your page, the organic reach is just like 1%. So you post anything organically, 1,000 people will see it. So if you want, okay, Facebook, I want to show it at least to my page engagers, you can do that. Or you can target people who follow a specific page. So for example, if you are new in a business, you have a competitor who already has a huge fan base. So you can just target their followers, probably they will follow our page as well, right? So Twitter, for example, Twitter has, you can target followers of certain, let's say, certain accounts, right? So for example, let me give you an example. We once wanted to target, let's say, nationals of a certain country, let's say Kuwait. Now, how do we know, because Kuwait has a lot of expats as well, how do we know that, how do we target Kuwaitis as well? That's our objective, right? So what we did is, we realized that there are some personalities in Kuwait like health minister, education minister. Not, expats do not follow them because they don't know them. But the Kuwaiti community, the people, the nationals of Kuwait, they follow them. They are very popular among those. So we targeted followers of these accounts. So we were able to kind of make it granular and target only Kuwaitis. The possibilities are endless with this just one point that you can target followers of certain pages. So you can automatically think about what use cases can I have with this. And then we have display advertising. Now, display advertising is interesting. For example, you can target contextual sites. Let's say you are an automotive brand. You can target websites who talk about car reviews. So you are contextually relevant. Somebody is looking at car reviews and you are showing him an ad about a new car launch. So you can do contextual. Then you can do custom intent. For example, people who searched for this keyword in last 1 month. Or people, for example, if you are, let's say, what do you do, sir?
I'm sustainability services.
Right? Now, you are in sustainability services. Let's say you know that a lot of your audience goes to Zayed sustainability price landing page, right? Now, they spent a lot of money now to reach out to people. Some of the people were interested in sustainability and all that. They clicked on the ad and they went to their landing page, right? To identify who will come to our website, they spent a lot of money. With custom intent, you can create audiences who went to certain websites and you can directly target them. Okay, people who went to Zaid Sustainability website, target them wherever they go. Like they go to Khaleej Times, you show them an ad. And then they have third-party audiences. To give you an example about third-party audiences, for example, there are tools which can target people who watch a certain show on Netflix. Have you watched any of these? House of Cards, The Orange is New Black. So these are all shows on Netflix, right? So you can target, for example, if you are a company, you make souvenirs or anything like that. You target Game of Thrones fans with whatever you have. So it's so granular. For example, you can target people who have a MasterCard and they spend a lot on automotive and cars. They spend a lot on education. You can even further segment that. They have kids, school-going kids. They spend a lot school education, high school education, or college. So it will help you because if you talk about UAE, there's 57 million devices connected to the internet. So if you have to run a campaign with a population of 10 million and 57 million devices, the first objective is to kind of make it granular. Okay, there's just 100,000 people who might buy my product and services, but how do I drill it down there? So these kind of platforms, this is a DMP, data management platform. Now you can target people who are interested to buy in market. They are looking to buy a particular model of Mercedes, right? And then there are people who have booked a ticket or flight or a hotel coming to Dubai. Now for a brand like La Pearl, Global Village, Expo, this information is gold, right? You just target, if there's 200,000 people coming to Dubai, you just target them. Why do you have to spend so much money on advertising and reach out to everyone? So this is one interesting thing about display advertising. Then we go to email marketing. It's very personal. It's personalized. For example, you receive a newsletter from Amazon. It says, "Hi, always." That's where they hook me up, okay? They send me happy birthday, exactly. And it's all automated, I know it. But still, it engages me with that brand. Probably that's the first happy birthday email I received this year. It was Amazon. Now, it's very personal and it's going to be very important in the near future, which I'll tell you why. And then we have LinkedIn. For example, on LinkedIn, you can target people based on their job title, their profession, which will, for example, if you're a B2B business and you just want to target doctors, LinkedIn is your channel because you can target doctors there, right? So all of these channels have something which makes them special. Now, a fun fact. Now, we were talking about DMPs. There is a Chinese DMP, I don't remember the name, probably it's iFlyTech. I saw an audience segment there. You can target people who probably have an extramarital affair. That's the granularity of the data they have about people. Probably nobody declares on online that, okay, I have an extramarital affair, but they collect signals with AI, and you can do that. Okay, now let's say we all are marketers here, and we have Petrol Nismo, which was launched last year, and we have this launch, okay? Now tell me, how would you use this information for Nissan Petrol Nismo? What channels will you probably use?
I guess Facebook is a good one. There is an intent already.
Okay, so you will use Facebook to kind of target people who are interested in petrol. Okay, that's one.
Contextual,
Nissan in general, okay.
display contextual and custom intent or third party audience.
Yeah,
Following the Twitter account.
Twitter as
of
well.
Nissan.
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's going to be through Nissan's page. That's not going to be through.
No, we can target them. If whatever page you have, you can target followers of Nissan page. You can do that. So that's what she's saying. Can we use Twitter? How? How will you target?
Because local Emirati, they have Nissan Petrol.
Yeah, I mean, see, it's a favorite car, okay? Then on Twitter, how will you target Emirati audience who are Emirati nationals?
Look for people who are following more
Exactly. For example, Alberg, probably, right? So the point here is, if you use right tactics, you probably can use most of the channels for any campaign, any audience, right?
I want to give an example on that. On
Please.
Eureka GCC made. So we had just a LinkedIn page and Instagram page, which was very new. So when we had to spread the word, apart from spreading it through universities or through co-working spaces, it was advertisements. So it was the first time I was actually doing a paid ad on Instagram, and it was so weird. So it was amazing the way each keyword was different. So just Eureka, no, sorry, just for example, if I say UAE, that's different. United Arab Emirates, that's going to be different.
Yeah.
And your rates increase with the number of, with the areas that you put in. So when I put in like all of the GCC countries, I had to specify, like for example, for Dubai, for UAE, I didn't put UAE. I put Dubai, then I put Sharjah, then I put Ajman. I didn't need to put like for example. So small things like that, I think it was paid media marketing. I saw traction. I don't know. I didn't see a lot of engagement, but I think it was.
That will be probably clear after we define how to define a strategy.
You either look at Flats Excellence or Bahrain Center for email.
Yeah.
And they sent their email newsletter to everyone.
Yeah.
That's how we knew about you. I never saw an ad.
Oh, yeah. See, exactly. So the ads also on Instagram they were mostly written in Arabic. So if they're in Arabic, probably people who don't know how to read or write Arabic but are staying in that country, they wouldn't get them. But then I couldn't find the English version for the location tags it is.
For those places?
For those places.
No, you should have.
I really tried. I put Kuwait in English, I couldn't find it. But then in Arabic.
No, because you probably targeted Kuwait as an interest, not within. There's a separate section for geo-targeting.
Oh, it was geo-targeting. I can show. We'll
It's
talk
saying.
about this after.
Okay. Okay, now the main topic today is how to create strategy or validate a strategy, right? For example, you were telling me we used paid, we wanted engagement, we didn't get it. There's always a miscommunication between whoever is executing the strategy or what you as a brand who invests money want, right? So it needs to be defined, broken down. Probably when you discuss with someone who's not a good strategist, they will touch on all these points, but in kind of silos. They don't stitch it together as like one piece, a strategy. So any strategy can be broken down, or you can work on a strategy following these steps exactly in this order, which is, the first one is the why, the second one is the market, the third one is the who, the where, the what, and the how. Any guess what is the why?
Why are you?
Or what is the who?
What's the aim
Why-
of
Okay.
the aim of your idea?
What do you think the who means?
Your
The
audience.
target. The target.
Yes. You guys are really smart. Okay. The first one is the why. You, with yourself or with your agency or with your consultant, you need to first define what are the objectives and the business vision, right? For example, you wanted traction, you wanted people to know about you, right? Or someone, automotives, they just want to sell cars. They don't care impressions, how many people reached, right? For a company like P&G, they don't want the people to know that there is something called Colgate. People know it. Nissan doesn't want people to know that there's something called Nissan, right? They know it. For a company like Khalij Times, Sky News Arabia, they want a lot of people to follow their pages. For any other company, it's about probably how many products they sell online, right? Or for some, it might be a mix, you know. I want people to know about my brand, but 70% of my focus should be sales. So first, it needs to be clearly defined. What is the thing that matters to you? You cannot get everything, because when it comes to executing the campaigns, you can just focus on one performance lever. You can focus on sales, you can focus on reach, you can focus on one soft metrics. You cannot generate everything. So this needs to be very clear and understood, that how is it going to impact my business? Because sometimes during the strategy or execution, you sometimes need a secondary metrics. Okay, I want to generate sales, but why? I mean, do I focus more on high-end cars? Do I focus more on, let's say, do I focus on basket value? I'm an e-commerce. Everybody comes and buys everything. Like the average cart value is 30 dirhams. What is my, I want to generate a lot of revenue. Okay, sales plus the cart value, right? So this needs to be very clearly defined. And obviously geography. What is your geography? Where do you want to advertise? And what your budgets are. Then the second one is the market. First, you need to understand your assets. Your website, your Facebook and social media pages, are they working properly? If somebody is coming to your website, is the user flow correct? Are they able to find how to fill a lead form, how to contact you? And when they do, is it going to a particular system where they will be automatically reached out to, or is there a system to track all this? You need to do audit of your channels, your website, your social media pages, any digital asset which kind of acts as a touch point for your customers. Then you understand the competitor audit. What are competitors doing? Because sometimes burning a lot of money to learn something, you can directly learn from a competitor. Okay, what's working with them, for them, and what's not working for them, and how are they doing things right? So you take out all the good things from them, and sometimes you can understand what is the market. For example, I have a YouTube channel. Sometimes I think that a channel with my genre probably might not get anything more than 100,000 subscribers, right? Then I check my competitors' channels and I see they have a million. So I'm like, okay, yeah, it's possible. So you kind of understand from your competitors and media trends. For example, how many people were looking for face masks before the COVID online? How many in the first year and how many now? Right? School admissions. If you are a business, you have seasonality is a factor that impacts your business. You need to have a look at trends. How many people are searching for Google on different assets? How many people are making a voice search related to your business or product or service? So you need to completely understand that. So now you know your business vision, you know why I am doing this. You know what competitors are doing and what's good and what's not bad. Then the third pillar, which is the most important thing, is the audience. You need to identify, as I mentioned before, with 57 million devices, you need to understand which 100,000, 200,000 or 1 million or 2 million are important for you. And then you need to divide them in personas. Because everybody who comes here to, let's say, AstroLabs is not the same. One of them might be a content creator, a consultant. One of them might be a business owner in some other country. They have a well-established business and they just have a representation here in one of the co-working spaces. And then different persona. For example, if I have my YouTube channel, I'm quoting it again and again. So there are different personas. I know some of them, they are just fresh grads. They want to pursue a career in digital marketing. Then there are people who have been working in offline, they just want to move to digital. Then there are people who are working in digital marketing, they're just looking to enhance their skills. My tone, if I run an advertising campaign to sell my course, has to be very different to a student, has to be very different to a professional. So you need to kind of divide your audience because it might be overwhelming sometimes. You just sit, or the strategist will do it for you. They will divide the personas. We call something as HVA, high value audiences, right, among these. And then once you're clear with that, you need to understand that, okay, I don't define a persona, someone who is very sweet, because you cannot target sweet on any of the channels. You need to kind of divide into personas which are addressable in the targeting which we discussed, right? So the strategist will do. So once you know why you are doing something, you know the market, you know who your audience is, it becomes very easy to understand where do I target them, which channels. Am I a fashion makeup brand? Snapchat, right? B2B, LinkedIn. B2B, low ticket value, Facebook, right? So once you do it, you immediately identify, okay, this is my persona, this is the hero channel, right? And you understand the channel mix, and then you do the what? Okay, now I understand who I am reaching out to. It's done. I understand where I'm reaching out to them, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, where. It becomes a bit easy for you to understand what do I say. Because the thing you will say to someone who just started, who is a consultant, the way you tell them that my software, 3 months free, $29 per month. You're reaching out to someone rich for a cosmetic surgery. You don't say there's an offer. You tell them high-end technology clinic, over a happy million customers, right? So you accordingly understand what do I say. And once you do all of this, this has become the most important factor now, that you need to understand whether you're doing a good job or a bad job. 50% of the people who run digital marketing campaigns, they don't have anything to compare to. They don't know whether they're doing a good job or not. Let's say you are a software as a service product. You have anything. And your lifetime value, customer value is $1,000. And you are generating a sale for $30 spending on digital marketing. Are you doing a good job? How do you know? Right? What do you look at? How do you understand? For example, we were talking to a consultant yesterday. They created a dashboard. We paid a lot of money for one of the, not me, the client. I am a consultant for the client. So they paid a lot of money for someone to create a dashboard, reporting dashboard for them. And when I saw the dashboard, it says 1 Jan, 2 Jan, 3 Jan, 4 Jan as the date range, and it says traffic. First day, 8,000. Jan 2. I'm like, isn't this an Excel sheet in a graphical form? What do I understand? Right? Probably if you put that daily traffic and what was the impact on CTR, that gives me some, that's significant, right? So you need to understand how to understand whether you're doing a good job, what metrics to look at, right? Sir, we are running a campaign for you, $100 every day, we are generating 300,000 clicks. How many of them are checking a product on my e-commerce website? A lot. How many are buying a product? So you need to have significant data to look at. For example, if I draw a graph here, which is my age, X, and population of India or any other country, it will be a graph like this. With my increasing age, the population of India is increasing. I have nothing to do with it. It's statistically, it's correct, but logically, it's not. It's not significant data, is it? So you need to understand how to report, which we will touch down briefly after a while. Okay, we have 15 minutes. So yeah, there's a lot of tools. Like one of the tools is called Spark Toro. You put, for example, I put civil engineer there, people who have civil engineer in their profile. It tells me what websites they go to, what social media pages they follow. Like 2% of them follow this particular page. So it will sometimes, these tools give you insights. For example, this one is a free tool.
What's it called?
It's called Spark Toro.
Spark.
Toro. So at the end, I have a QR code. You can just connect with me on my newsletter or YouTube. I have a tool list. I can send it to you. Okay, so once we do a strategy, so these 6 steps, you follow them, you can create a good strategy. Or if you are working with someone, you can at least evaluate. You can ask him, I don't see how you address how you did the audience persona division. I don't see why you are saying that LinkedIn is a hero channel for me, right? So you will be able to at least evaluate, if not create digital marketing strategies. Like it took us probably 8 to 10 years to be able to work on this, but at least this gives you an idea where to start, how to start. Now what's next in this space? This section is here just because a lot of things have been changing in the last 2 years and they are changing as well. So what things you need to look at in the near future. Now data and privacy laws are getting stricter. I mean the way you collect. Probably you have seen nowadays you go to any website, it asks you, do you allow us to collect cookies or not? So that's all a part of GDPR, which is privacy laws. And so it's getting very strict. And Google says from 2022, which was this year before, they postponed it, that we will not allow third-party cookies, which means that brands and websites who used to track us, they won't be able to do that anymore, at least on Google Chrome, which is like 70%. So a lot of things are changing. There was a war between Apple and Facebook. So we had a lot of impact on Facebook campaigns on Apple devices. So keeping that in mind, the user behavior is changing. For example, I was reading a survey which says that a hotel did a survey that all the people who bought a staycation in the first half of the year in their hotel, I think 40% of them told them that we came to know about this staycation on TikTok or Instagram Reels. Right? Big impact. Or 28% people said before we go to a restaurant for the first time, we check them on Instagram, not on Zomato. Right? We used to do that Zomato, right? They said that whenever we go to a restaurant for the first time, we check them on Instagram. So the user behavior is changing, right? So keeping that thing in mind, now a lot of companies have realized that this is the time for automation, right? Because automation, there's a lot you can do in automation and digital marketing, right? Probably you'll understand a little bit when you at the end go to subscribe to my newsletter. You'll understand, like, I mean, I have created some automation systems as like a hobby, so you'll understand how I do it. So you need to be personalized, because engaged. For example, B2B clients, it's even more important for them, because the moment you generate a lead and until a purchase, it's a long time, right? Like, you grow a beard and you're like, we talked about this, right? So that thing in mind, you need to constantly engage users, and that can be done only using Korean automation systems, right? It can be an email automation system. It can be, there's a lot of possibilities, right? That's what we do for bread and butter. Then choose your hero channel. Like, a lot of companies, what the mistake they do, and even going forward, because it's not going to be as accurate, the tracking, the targeting. So you need to choose your hero channel. At least your 80 to 90% which should go to hero channel. If your hero channel, based on the discussion we had, is LinkedIn and YouTube, you need to put your efforts and money there. A lot of companies, what they do is, when it comes to paid media, they spread it. Like, there's a holy Bible they follow, 20% to search, 30% no. You need to, because we saw that people who do this, they have hero channels and they focus there, they generate better results. Or you just cannot create an infographic video and post it on Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. Every platform has a different vibe, and users go on that platform for that vibe. If you are not able to resonate with that, the algorithm will understand and you will not get as much reach as you should. And there's a lot of things that can be discussed, but this is just like the highlights. Leverage YouTube and LinkedIn. Just to give you an idea, I talk about YouTube a lot, but there is 3 billion searches done on YouTube every month. It's like second Google. For example, I'll give you if I go to, for example, Malaysia, right? I won't probably go to Google to find out the best postpaid connection for 3 months traveler. I'll go to YouTube, because they will explain it to me, right? Or how to tie a tie. I'll not do it on Google. I'll do it on YouTube, right? Recipe for something. I'll do it on YouTube. Do you realize it's a slow drift? That's why we don't realize. YouTube is becoming like second Google. So, like companies used to have blogs, because that was their content strategy to get traffic. For example, if you search for the best way to do business in UAE, 14 things you need to keep in mind before buying a house in UAE, you probably will see a blog from Fam Properties, right? A lot of companies do that. They create content to attract users organically, and they check them out, and you at least recognize Fam Properties is a thought leader in UAE about a lot of stuff. When you buy property, you probably go to Fam Properties, right? So you have to do the same thing on YouTube. If you have resources and if you think YouTube is a channel, YouTube is definitely a channel that will be very important in the next decade or half a decade. So you need to have a strategy if you think it's important for you. And LinkedIn. The thing about LinkedIn I want to tell you is, like on Facebook, if you have 1,000 followers, you post something organically, you will reach out to probably 10, 50, 20. LinkedIn is a platform, if you have 100 followers, your content, you post anything, it can reach to 200 people easily. So, and it will not stay this way. This is not going to stay this way. And so leverage LinkedIn as much as you can. And for people who probably are consultants and freelancers who are online, to create a personal brand, there's nothing like LinkedIn. Nothing can beat LinkedIn. And a lot of people are utilizing that. And the last one is create rich first-party sources. If you are any kind of business and your customers interact with you with digital assets, with your website, Facebook, anything, start collecting first-party data, which is emails and phone numbers, which will not change for a long time. For now, just collect it. We will think about the strategy to use that later, because there will be huge impacts in the next year or two on how we use to target. First-party data is going to be very, very important. So if you don't realize how to act on it, for now create a strategy to collect your data. For emails, phone numbers. We'll think about how to use it probably later.
So are we saying that because of that data and privacy laws
Yes.
Getting stricter and stricter,
Yes.
the shift is going to be from search traffic to
No. That's a user behavior. So before I want.
We would track user behavior so well, which we have been doing in the past. So the conversion ratio is going to go down.
Yes.
So the shift is more on social media now. YouTube.
Yeah, but that's not because of privacy laws. Privacy laws will impact everything. But that is user behavior, because we used to have SEO. Like any company, you talk about SEO. Why? They just want to be present on Google because they know this is the biggest search engine. So that's why I'm saying YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. Now, don't talk about SEO a lot. Focus on YouTube content strategy as well.
What I'm saying is, of course, data and privacy law is going to impact everything, even YouTube and LinkedIn.
Yes.
But the shift from search to social media is quite high. Is that correct? The percentage of results are going to be more from social media in coming times, more than
You mean in terms of organic?
conversion, the
Or-
end conversion.
No, I don't have data about that, because Google is still significant. It's like the biggest search engine. So Facebook is growing, but Google is growing as well. So
I'd like to say something to support what you said about YouTube. I think because Google owns YouTube, I have found that when I post a video on YouTube, the results come up so high on the search results, and it's
Yes.
been very good for my business.
Yeah.
When people are looking in general for gold soup, they find me. I am not what they should find,
Yeah.
but they find me because there are no other videos about gold soup.
exactly. So yeah, I mean, they are integrating it. For example, let me show you an example. Okay, I'm on Google, right? So I just started my YouTube channel like 6 months ago, right? So if you see here, a lot of guys have been doing a lot on SEO. Like on this particular keyword DV360 on Google, probably 6 out of 10 results are from my channel. A lot of people have been working too hard on SEO, right? I didn't do as significant work as them, but I just appear on first page of Google. So yeah, I mean, that's what you said.
Yes, I think it's a great use of your time if you're comfortable in front of a camera or you have somebody on your team who's
Yeah.
comfortable with that.
Or anyone, like if you are a company who has a content marketing agency who creates content for you, just ask them to focus on YouTube as well. Because if someone in Indonesia wants to set up a business in UAE, what will they do? They'll go to YouTube. Benefits of setting up a company in UAE. If you are present there, you got a lead. Think about it. And the last one is something called benchmark your maturity and create plans to improve. So there's something called, a lot of people don't know about this. There's something called Google Maturity Framework. You might have heard about BCG, Boston Consulting Group. So Google and BCG in association created kind of a survey. It's free. You go to the website, you answer questions about your company. They assess you based on your analytics and measurement, your assets, your audience. They ask you simple questions. Who creates ads? Is it a marketing agency? Does the person who runs the campaign, do they see the ads before running the campaign? Do they give inputs? Do you use Google Analytics or Adobe or whatever? So based on this, they assess you and they give you a score from 0 to 4. 4 being like you are very mature in digital and you're future proof. So all that what's going to happen, it will not impact your business. 1 is like naive, you need to improve a lot. And not just the score, they compare with you your country and your competitors and tell you how far behind or ahead you are with your competition, and they tell you the opportunities that you need to improve on this. You take it. So what I do for companies, for example, is I do this audit for them. I tell them you need to work, first thing you need to work on is this analytics audit. Let's do it. We take it as a project, we do it, we finish it, we reassess and see our score. So it just makes your business future proof if you are anyhow dependent on digital. So it's free of cost and you can do it. I even have a video on this my channel that how to exactly do it. So yeah, you can refer to that. So thank you so much. For people who are online watching the stream, you can scan this QR code. That will be my YouTube channel, my blog, my newsletter and everything. So you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post content about these things, and you can subscribe to my newsletter. I don't spam. I just send information which is important. Exactly, yeah. So yeah, that's all. I mean, anyone has any questions? I think we are done with the time, but we can take a question or two if possible. I can't see the comments, so people online, I'm sorry.